Imagine this. You're 60-something, sitting at a long table in a meeting you've attended versions of for decades. A sharp young executive cuts you off with a casual, "Yeah, but." And the room waits. Or it's Sunday lunch with extended family, and a nephew tosses out a half-joking dig about how you still do things the old way. The air thickens for a second. You've felt that quiet pull, that invisible tug on your dignity. Most people think respect comes from what you say, the position you hold, the life you've built. They're wrong. The real rule, the one nobody spells out, is simpler and more ruthless. You are treated based on your reactions, not your words, not your status, not your good intentions, your reactions. Master that, and the entire game changes. Ignore it, and you spend years wondering why people keep crossing lines they know they shouldn't. Look back at the small moments that reveal it. A colleague forgets to loop you in on an important email chain. A longtime friend replies 3 days late with a breezy excuse. Someone at the club makes a pointed remark about your golf swing or your politics, eyes flicking to see if you'll bite. These aren't accidents. They are probes, tiny, deliberate tests of your emotional perimeter. People do this instinctively. They watch your face, your tone, your pause. They're reading the data your nervous system leaks in real time. A tight jaw, a quick defense, a forced laugh. They all tell the same story. Here is where I can push. The uncomfortable fact is that almost everyone around you is quietly mapping your thresholds before they decide how much respect to extend. It isn't always malice. Often it's just calibration, the way water finds the lowest path. This dynamic runs on what I call emotional leverage. Picture it like an invisible lever someone else can pull if they know where your weak point sits. Humans are wired to scan for those points. In any interaction, our ancient wiring quietly asks, "Can I unsettle this person? Can I get a rise? Can I make them chase approval?" Your reaction is the answer. A flinch signals sensitivity. A rushed explanation signals insecurity. An eager justification signals a need to be liked. A raised voice signals fear of losing control. The moment you react, social calibration locks in. From that second onward, people know exactly how much pressure the structure can take before it bends. And once they know, they rarely forget. That first reaction doesn't just pass, it brands you. Social identity isn't built on resumes or stories we tell ourselves. It forms from the emotional fingerprints we leave in every exchange. Psychology talks about the labeling effect. People slap a category on you based on early cues, and then filter everything through it. Laugh off an insult too nervously, and you become the guy who takes it. Over-explain your position, and you become the defensive one. Snap back too hard, and you become the hothead. But meet the jab with calm, measured presence. No escalation, no retreat, and the label shifts to steady. Unshakable. Over months and years, those labels harden into reputation. In boardrooms, in families, in friendships, people begin to treat you according to the pattern your reactions have taught them. The quiet ones who rarely spike emotionally often end up holding the most unspoken authority. Their silence isn't weakness, it's weight. So why do some people test the same person over and over? Because boundary probing is baked into every human group. We live inside subtle dominance hierarchies whether we admit it or not. Office teams, golf foursomes, holiday tables. Teasing, sarcasm, interruptions, slow replies, backhanded compliments. These are low-cost ways to map the hierarchy without open confrontation. Most of the time, the tester isn't cruel. They're just gathering information. If pushing once produces a reaction they can use, attention, defensiveness, anger, they log it as effective. Behavior that gets rewarded repeats. It's basic reinforcement. No different from training a dog or raising a child. The moment a pattern works, it becomes the default until something stronger interrupts it. Emotional reactivity itself functions as currency. Attention is power, and every visible spike hands power to whoever provoked it. That's why petty arguments balloon. One side feeds the fire, the other keeps pouring fuel. Or take the approval loop so many fall into, explaining, justifying, trying to make the other person understand so you can feel safe again. Each loop tightens the knot. Over years, these patterns create emotional dependency. You begin to need their validation to settle your own nervous system. It happens slowly, almost invisibly, until one day you realize the dynamic has tilted, and you're no longer the one setting the tone. The shift comes when you claim the calm advantage. Controlled reactions create uncertainty, and uncertainty commands respect. When you refuse to hand over an emotional spike, the other person is left holding an empty lever. They don't know what you feel, what you'll do, how far they can go. That not knowing is uncomfortable for them, and powerful for you. Silence is one of the heaviest tools in that toolbox. Not sulky silence, but deliberate, unrushed pause. The delayed response, counting 3 breaths before you answer, changes the physics of the moment. Calm people seldom get tested repeatedly, because others quickly learn there's no payoff. Your composure becomes gravitational. It pulls the interaction back toward balance without you ever raising your voice. Important distinction here. This isn't suppression. Bottling emotion until it explodes later destroys you from the inside. High blood pressure, quiet resentment, eventual burnout. Regulation is different. It means feeling the heat fully, then choosing the response instead of letting the emotion choose for you. A steady tone that says, "That crosses a line," carries far more force than shouting. Assertive clarity without leakage, no trembling voice, no flushed face, is maturity weaponized. Older men and women who've lived long enough to see the patterns often arrive here naturally. They've paid the tuition in younger years. Now they spend the dividends. Social calibration is really just training others how to treat you, and training happens through repetition. Show up steady once, it's a data point. Show up steady a dozen times, it's your identity. Calm boundaries delivered without drama work better than lectures. "I don't engage with that tone," said evenly is enough. Short answers instead of paragraphs. Starve the manipulator of oxygen. Remove the reward, attention, drama, explanation, and the behavior loses its reason to exist. It's quiet, unglamorous work, but it reshapes entire relationships over time, especially valuable as the years accumulate and energy becomes something you guard. Not every moment demands detachment. Discernment matters. Some situations call for strategic confrontation, a measured flash of steel to reset the frame. The skill is intention, choosing when emotion serves you rather than defaulting to reaction. Emotional timing is intelligence refined by experience. It lets you spend feeling where it counts and conserve it everywhere else. Over the long arc, this path builds authority without ever needing aggression. People who cannot be rattled gain influence quietly. Others seek them out in storms because they don't sway. Respect at its core is emotional predictability in reverse. You know they won't collapse or explode, so you grant them space. Stable people become anchors. In turbulent companies, fractured families, uncertain times, gravity grows as reactivity shrinks. People orbit calm because it feels safe. The truth most only grasp late. You cannot dictate how others behave. Their provocations, their tests, their selfishness will come. What you control is what they harvest from you. Starve the cycle of emotional reward, and the cycle changes. Composure is the ultimate move, not because it wins arguments, but because it ends the need for them. As the decades stack, you see it clearly. The world doesn't adjust to your achievements or your age. It adjusts to your nervous system. Regulate it, and respect follows like a shadow you no longer have to chase.